Now that you've had a chance to kind of put this stamp and kind of define the Agent 47 character for us without necessarily getting too deep, kind of setting him up as this archetype, where would you like to see a sequel go with this character?
I'd like to go more into the idea that this is someone who can blend in anywhere, and therefore more disguises, more chameleonic sort of impersonations, more blending in, and then more of this thing of maybe the human traits in this genetically engineered assassin are his greatest flaw and his greatest strength. So how do you take someone who's been engineered not to feel anything, who's gone a bit wrong and does feel things, and therefore use that to make him even better?
Hannah and Zachary, there was a lot of secrecy surrounding your characters going into this. Spoilers for anybody watching this, we're going to talk about this now. Now that we've kind of met your characters and seen, you both had these big reveals. You turned out to be a very powerful villain. You turned out to be a very powerful ally. Would we see you guys in sequels to this film as well, now that you've kind of built these characters into this mythos?
I mean, I always think it's a little bit premature to talk about sequels before a movie comes out, and I think that how the movie does and how many people go see it and what the response to it is will dictate a lot about its future, if there is one. It's not called John Smith, it's not called Katya Vandis, so who knows, you know? But I feel like it was a great thing to be a part of this far, and we'll see if there's a future for it.
In your case, yes, because we had this very kind of we're going to be buzzing about this teaser at the end of the movie, where we kind of see you morph into this iconic character from the video game franchise, thereby maybe setting up a rivalry that people would want to see more of in the future.
Sure, well, they'll have to tell us after August 21st.
Yeah. I also kind of asked because I know that, I mean, in some ways the industry is changing, and kind of planning and pre-planning these things is becoming part of it. I mean, it made headlines just last month with you and the plans for Star Trek maybe going a bit ahead and recognizing when you can have something to kind of come back to, and we've talked to multiple actors about that.
Sure.
Do you guys think from that video games are poised to be the next big thing? Right now it's kind of the superhero movement sweeping through, but do you guys feel that video games will kind of find their own niche and become a growing trend? And do you think you've kind of gotten in early maybe with something like this franchise?
Well, we're not the first movie to be an adaptation of a video game by any means, but I feel like we were talking about this a little bit before, but the next big thing to me feels like all of this is converging somewhere in the virtual reality space. And you know, you already have companies like Oculus Rift, and you know, they're advancing these technologies and integrating them more accessibly for consumers. And I feel like video games are already going so much in that direction, and now that they're crossing that over into film, I just feel like it's going to meet somewhere in the middle, and that's going to be really interesting and uncharted territory.
So just to wrap it up, let's throw one to Hannah. Do you see a future where there will be this kind of movement and interactivity between a movie and a video game as one cohesive experience for the fans?
I don't know. I don't think I'm at I don't know if I can answer that really. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not a gamer. I think that if there are wonderful games like Hitman, I think it's a really interesting game to watch from a non-gamer perspective, and it's been a great platform for our movie. And but I just don't know. Sorry.
Future still being written. That's fine. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.